just when we thought this Sheryl Swoopes drama was gonna blow over, things just got so much messier.
Just when it seemed the Sheryl Swoopes drama was finally settling down, boom, things got even messier. Did you hear the latest bombshell in women's basketball? Sheryl Swoopes, the Hall of Famer and three-time WNBA MVP, an absolute legend, has reportedly been fired. And believe it or not, it all traces back to her comments about none other than Caitlin Clark. But that's only the beginning of the chaos. Rachel DeMita has now entered the conversation, and let's just say the situation has only gotten more heated. Before we dive deeper, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any major WNBA updates. Now back to the story. Swoopes has seemed critical of Caitlin Clark for quite some time. At this point, it almost feels like Clark is Voldemort and Swoopes refuses to even say her name. Apparently, the WNBA wasn't pleased and decided to sideline the Hall of Famer. And just when you thought things couldn't get more dramatic, Rachel DeMita publicly called out Swoopes, essentially asking, "What's going on with you? How did we go from basketball legends to full-blown reality show drama?" Stay tuned, because it's wild how one rising rookie star could spark such a major reaction.
Sheryl Swoopes and how she has been a certified Caitlin Clark hater for about a year now. Up until now, she has not been able to say anything nice about Caitlin Clark, nor has she been able to even speak her name. So for this specific game against the Fever, they replaced her with another WNBA legend, Nancy Lieberman.
You might be wondering, who exactly is Sheryl Swoopes, and why does this matter? Well, here's the context. Swoopes is often compared to the Michael Jordan of women's basketball, a three-time WNBA MVP, Hall of Famer, and an all-time legend. So when someone of her stature reportedly gets fired, it feels like a major shock to the basketball world. Even Stephen A. Smith has been reacting strongly to the situation. And you know it's serious when Stephen A. starts getting fired up about it.
So I can understand why Sheryl Swoopes would have an attitude with people who would question her professional objectivity. But I also understand why people would look at her like she's lost her ever-loving mind. Because you're literally putting the lack of professional objectivity on display for audiences to see, and then you're looking at us acting like what's wrong?
Now here's where things get especially interesting. How does Caitlin Clark, the highly talked about rising star, end up connected to a legendary figure being pushed out of her position?
We're like, did Sheryl Swoopes get fired? They took her off this game, and a lot of people were also happy about that because we don't know what her commentary would have been like with the Fever on the court.
You're going to want to hear this. Just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get any more unbelievable, Rachel DeMita weighed in, and what she had to say is sure to surprise you.
And so the fact that he went on about the read, talked about Nafisa, talked about Caitlin Clark, and then after that, there was like 5 or 6 seconds of literal silence because Sheryl Swoopes was not jumping in. That was the point that I was like, okay, here is once again another example of Sheryl Swoopes hating Caitlin Clark so much that she literally can't even say her name.
The chaos didn't start with Rachel DeMita. It all began on the hardwood, where a young star exploded onto the scene and rattled the WNBA like a squirrel in a peanut factory. How did Caitlin Clark's jaw-dropping performances end up coinciding with a Hall of Famer's fall from the top? It's almost like
Caitlin Clark is the Voldemort if Sheryl Swoopes was Harry Potter. Like, literally cannot say Caitlin Clark's name. It is so bizarre. Sheryl Swoopes, Lisa Leslie, those women were like the gold standard of basketball. So it's just so weird to me for her to just be hating. Like, there's no other way to describe it.
You're probably wondering how one player could create this much chaos. Well, Caitlin Clark isn't your typical baller. From the moment she laced up her sneakers, she's been turning heads and taking over the spotlight. Honestly, it almost feels like she has a standing appointment with drama and highlight reels. Everyone's talking about her, and trust me, it's not just because of her jump shot.
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA. I mean, you had somebody who was the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history who plays for Las Vegas, and nobody talked about her. Nobody talked about Kelsey. Wonderful player. Nobody talked about her. Caitlin Clark is just different.
Clark has been on a tear in her rookie season, averaging an impressive 25 points per game. That's not just good, that's watch out, veterans territory. But it's not only about the stats. Clark has completely changed the trajectory of the Indiana Fever, helping turn a team that started 1-8 into a legitimate contender. Talk about a superhero-level turnaround. And she's still not slowing down. Clark recently put up a career-high 31 points against the Chicago Sky. Imagine being a rookie and casually dropping numbers like that.
He buried Angel Reese in Chicago last Friday. The Fever blew out the sky. On a night when Dopey DeShields delivered 3 cheap shots, Clark posted 31 points and 12 assists in a 19-point victory. Show White exited the game to a round of applause and then sat and watched Sleazy Reese pad her stats in the final 90 seconds.
Here's where things take a wild turn. Despite Caitlin Clark playing at an elite level, she wasn't selected for the Olympic team. Surprising, right? It definitely left a lot of people wondering how a player performing that well could be left off the roster. Some observers, though, suggest it might actually work in Clark's favor by giving her time to rest and refocus on the WNBA season. Now you might be asking, what does Sheryl Swoopes have to do with all this? Buckle up, because this is where the drama really heats up. The basketball legend weighed in on Clark's rise, and let's just say her take didn't exactly win over the crowd. It landed about as well as pineapple on pizza.
And this is definitely not the first time that Sheryl Swoopes has thrown shade or omitted Caitlin from her broadcast or from her podcast. Just last week on her podcast, her and her co-host were talking about the Indiana Fever post the Olympic break. And here's what she had to say about the Fever.
I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She's just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings, end quote. So no, Caitlin.
I'm not saying these other players aren't incredible, but seriously, how do you leave Caitlin Clark out? Sheryl Swoopes didn't just question Clark's scoring records. She basically threw the rulebook at her. Swoopes argued that if someone is going to break a record, it should be done within the same time frame as the original player, not with extra overtime like it's some casual pickup game. And if that wasn't enough, Swoopes added a pointed remark about Clark's scoring spree. There are only so many basketballs to go around.
You're going to break a record. To me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it. So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be.
The drama in the WNBA has reached a fever pitch. Sheryl Swoopes' long-standing criticism of Caitlin Clark sparked a firestorm, with fans, players, and even legends weighing in. Social media exploded, leading the league to bench Swoopes for an upcoming game, signaling they wouldn't let anyone, even a Hall of Famer, undermine rising stars. Rachel DeMita stepped in, passionately defending Clark and challenging the old guard mentality, pointing out double standards in women's basketball and celebrating Clark's impact on the league. The controversy highlighted the tension between honoring past legends and supporting new talent, showing just how closely every word and action is scrutinized in the sport today.